What's up, everyone? I just got back from a protest at Snowden Metro in Montreal against Bill 62. Now, this bill was passed in the Quebec National Assembly on October 18th, 2017, and it was officially promoted as a bill to foster, quote, religious neutrality in the province, so essentially a bill about Quebec secularism. Now, the actual effects that this bill is meant to have is that receivers and givers of public services such as, the public transit system, hospitals, daycares, public schools, etc., are meant to not cover their faces when either giving or receiving said services. So it could apply to many different situations technically. However, many critics are essentially calling this a veiled attempt to target Muslim women who wear the niqab or the burqa, so the full face veil. Now, there is sort of a wider context for why Quebecers and Montrealers have this attitude, why they feel like this is targeting Muslim people. In 2011, the federal government introduced a bill or a law to not allow Muslim women from wearing the full face veil during the swearing-in ceremonies for Canada. So if you wanted to become a citizen of Canada and you were a Muslim woman wearing the full face veil, like the niqab or the burqa, you were meant to take it off. Now, this was a big debate at the time, and there was actually a lot of public support among Canadians for this ban. So about one poll at least found that that 82% of Canadians supported the ban, while about 93% of Quebecers supported the ban. So there was actually relatively wide support for the ban at the time. However, in 2015, a federal court ultimately shot it down. Now, this is basically a revival of that debate, the debate over the niqab and the burqa. However, it's been sort of more widely applied now, so it's not just about the swearing-in ceremonies. Now it's just about using public services. So there has been a lot of opposition to the bill in the media and among the activist community, among the Muslim community, just among Quebecers and Canadians in general have opposed this bill. Now, the actual language of the bill specifies that there can be religious accommodations, so someone could technically ask for an exemption based on their charter rights and freedoms that guarantee religious freedom. However, the next line in that section says that the accommodation cannot extend to things that sort of represent inequality between the sexes or that violate the, quote, principle of state religious neutrality. So while it says that it's able to accommodate religion, it also says that it's not supposed to accommodate that religion if it, if it might represent inequality between the sexes or things like this. So you can see how there could be some interpretation difficulties here. Like, what is the bus driver, for example, supposed to think about that? Are they supposed to, interpret the burqa as being a representation of inequality between the sexes? Well, maybe the people that are actually wearing the burqa would oppose that interpretation, would say that it is not about inequality between the sexes, it's about their religious beliefs. So you can see how it could get messy here, how the interpretation could lead to all sorts of problems. And already there's been one bus driver who might face sanctions for essentially showing solidarity with people who oppose this bill. And different municipalities like Montreal, etc., are trying to get exempt from it. People are asking how it's actually supposed to be applied and what the guidelines are. So far it's been a little bit messy, but let's see what Montrealers who oppose this bill have to say about it.
Ce matin, on est mobilisé pour la loi qui, d'après moi, était juste, la loi 62. Et les libéraux ont décidé assis sur leur belle chaise, que finalement on doit séparer la population du Québec. Alors pour moi, c'est injuste. Et je me remercie beaucoup d'être venu en grand nombre. Et ce matin, l'action est pacifique. Il n'y a pas d'égrabuge, il n'y a pas d'action violente. Et je suis très content. Et on va laisser la parole aux personnes qui sont invitées, ils vont vous parler, puis après on va continuer à parler, puis à la fin on va vous dire la suite.
I'm opposing the bill for three reasons. One is it's a complete misappropriation of the idea of secularism. A secular state absolutely does not create a law that targets one religious group. It's the exact opposite of it. We have to end this charade in Quebec of using secularism as an excuse for xenophobia. Second, it's completely the opposite. It has nothing to do with the oppression of women, which is another excuse that people use for this law. The result is that women will not get public services. Denying public services is literally exactly what radical Islamists are doing, like the Taliban, and it's exactly what Quebecers who support this law and hate Islam say. That's the reason why they say they hate Islam. But you're literally doing exactly what the Taliban is doing right now by denying Muslim women education and healthcare. It's unacceptable. Again, stop using this good value as an excuse for xenophobia. The third reason is because I believe in a Quebec that's open. I believe it's important to take back the idea of Quebec nationalism from the racists. We can't let them fly the fleur-de-lis and define what they believe Quebec is as a closed, backwards society that is not open to the world. The world is opening up, and it makes us richer, not weaker. You know, I love to talk to people from all over the world. It teaches me things. We're all better for having more people here. And yes, it may be strange. It may take us a little while to get used to somebody who decides to cover their face for all the time. But face coverings are normal. We do it for 6 months out of the year here in Quebec. With our scarves and our hats. We do it in the summer when we have sunglasses, and everyone gets along just fine. This notion that society falls apart just because a face is covered is nonsense. We need to de-racialize this idea. We need to remember we all cover our faces in public all the time. Society doesn't fall apart, and it may take a little bit getting used to, but we should just get used to it. It's really not a big deal. It's just clothes. There are a lot of clothes I don't like, but I don't want to deny those people public services.
Je vais pas faire de grands discours. Je veux juste vous dire que moi, ça me touche de vous voir ici, de vous voir vous mobiliser pour protéger les citoyennes. Je suis peut-être la Nicamie la plus exposée au Québec en ce moment-là, mais il y a d'autres femmes derrière moi, d'autres femmes qui aimeraient juste vivre une vie en paix, puis de se sentir des citoyennes égales aux autres. Elles veulent élever leurs enfants dans cette société. Elles veulent partager cette richesse de cette belle société qu'on a avec tellement de belles cultures, tellement de... Comme je dis, on est une belle mosaïque. Les personnes et leurs pensées, c'est comme des couleurs, c'est des nuances. Puis moi, je veux pas d'une vie monochrome. Je veux de la diversité dans ma société. J'en veux des antifas, puis j'en veux des punks, puis j'en veux des straight, puis j'en veux des LGBT, puis j'en veux de tout le monde dans ma société. Tout le monde a sa place ici. Donc, s'il vous plaît, continuez la mobilisation, continuez à agir, puis dites au gouvernement que c'est non.
First of all, I'd like to thank you guys for your support. I'm so overwhelmed to see so many people here to support us. I'm really against this bill because, you know what, if somebody needs to identify me, I'm more than happy to uncover myself. But on a bus ride and on a metro ride, it's ridiculous when bus drivers are not even checking who paid. So, you know what, it's ridiculous. When I go to make my medical card, my driver's license, I lift it before they even tell me because I understand that I need to be identified. But outside and in public services and at school, where there's kids on their headphones while the teacher is talking, that's a communication problem. I'm listening. Yeah. I'm listening. So I'm really against this law. It's not, I do it. If anybody has any misunderstanding that I am forced, I am proud and it is my will. And Islam does not go against anything. Everybody is free, and it's never an us versus them. It's never like that. We are here to live in peace and harmony with our government, but when it makes laws like this that go against fundamental rights, I disagree. Thank you.
In theory, Bill 62, aims to control women's bodies, and I think in any context that's completely unacceptable. And in practice, what it seeks to do, in my opinion, is further exclude Muslim women from Quebec society. So I think it's a racist law, and I don't think we should stand for it.
Right, because there's people who would say that because it doesn't actually mention Islam or niqab, burqa in the actual wording, that it doesn't actually discriminate. So explain what your criticism of that would be.
I mean, government representatives have made it pretty clear, even though it's been implicit, that it targets Muslim women. The only other examples of other things that would be banned that they've been able to provide have been things like sunglasses and scarves. I mean, we live in Quebec, the winters are very cold. People use public transportation with scarves on all the time. It's a pretty blatant attempt at excluding Muslim women who wear the niqab, the burqa, from using public services and from providing them.
And what's like the political sort of sub-context that's going on here? What do you think about that?
I mean, I think there's definitely been a rise of Islamophobia in Quebec for the past, and I mean in North America and the Western world in general for the past few years. I think this is significant because it's an attempt at appealing to a particular voter base in Quebec that hates Muslim women, that feels threatened by them for whatever reason, and yeah, I think actions like these are important, but it's also, I think, important to remember that this has been an ongoing process. We had the Charter of Values a few years ago, and even if this gets repealed, it's entirely possible that similar attempts at policing Muslim women's bodies will continue. And yeah, we need to remain aware of that. And yeah.
I don't know, maybe like why is that?